No more secrets. The older woman everyone wanted to know. They said she came from nowhere. A woman wrapped in mystery and silence. No one knew her name, no one knew her past. But everyone, from the glittering towers of Dubai to the quiet hearts of those who whispered her story, wanted to know who she truly was. It all began on a golden evening when Sheikh Hamdan was seen walking by the old coastal path of Jumeirah, where the sea meets the memory of time. By his side was a woman, graceful, calm, her hair kissed with strands of silver, her steps unhurried yet full of quiet command. The cameras caught their silhouettes against the setting sun, but her face remained turned away, hidden by the golden light. The world gasped. Who was she? Some said she was an artist from Europe who once painted royal portraits. Others claimed she was an old family friend, a poet whose words once inspired Fazza's earliest verses. But those who saw her eyes, deep, knowing, and strangely familiar, said she looked like someone who carried the secrets of 1,000 nights. She was not young, but she was timeless. Her beauty didn't scream for attention. It whispered to your soul. There was something royal about her silence, something that could not be bought, only felt. Hamdan never spoke about her in public, but those close to him noticed how his poems began to change. His words grew softer, wiser. He stopped writing only about love and began writing about understanding, about peace, about the kind of affection that does not need youth to be beautiful. One evening, his father, Sheikh Mohammed, was said to have asked him quietly, "Who is she, my son?" Hamdan only smiled. "Someone who reminds me what love was before fame touched it." The woman was often seen in the royal stables feeding the horses. She spoke little but had a way of calming even the most restless stallions. The guard said when she touched the animals, they bowed their heads as if recognizing an old friend. Rumors spread faster than desert wind. Some said she was his secret mentor, the woman who taught him poetry when he was a child. Others claimed she had once been in love with his father, and destiny had simply brought her back into their lives. Older, wiser, but with the same spark in her eyes. No one could confirm. No one dared ask. But then came the night of the royal gala. Hamdan arrived alone until she walked in, draped in an elegant silver gown, her every movement glowing with dignity. The room fell silent. Even those who judged her age could not deny her presence. When she stood beside him, Hamdan did not introduce her as a guest, a friend, or a relative. He simply said, "She is someone the world forgot to understand." The cameras flashed. The world took notice. And for the first time, the whispers turned into fascination, because in her calm smile and quiet grace, people saw something they hadn't seen in years, the beauty of truth. She didn't need diamonds or titles. Her crown was invisible, built of memories. The night after the royal gala, the city didn't sleep. Every headline carried her picture. Every news anchor whispered her name with curiosity and awe. But even with all the noise, no one could find her past. It was as if she had appeared from the desert mist, elegant, mysterious, and untouchable. Some claimed she was a poet from decades ago, once known in secret royal circles for her deep verses on love and destiny. Others insisted she had lived abroad for years, far away from the royal light, until fate drew her back to Dubai. But while the world argued, Sheikh Hamdan remained silent. He neither confirmed nor denied any rumor. Instead, he spent more time with her, walking through old gardens, riding horses at dawn, sharing quiet conversations that no one else could hear. "She listens more than she speaks," one of the royal aides said. "And when she does speak, her words sound like prayers." The woman's name finally surfaced in whispers. Layla al-Saadi. Some said she once taught poetry at a private school for royals. Others believed she had written poems under a secret pen name that even Hamdan used to quote in his early works. But when someone asked Layla about her identity, she only smiled and said softly, "Names are only doors. What matters is what lies behind them." Every time she appeared in public, her aura quieted the room. She didn't try to look young. She didn't need to. Her silver hair, her steady eyes, her calm laughter, all carried a beauty that no youth could imitate. And perhaps that was what drew Hamdan so deeply toward her. In a world of glamour and performance, she was real. He often told those close to him, "Young love burns bright but fades fast. The kind of love she gives, it grows even in silence." People started noticing changes in him. His speeches became softer, filled with wisdom. His poetry no longer chased fame, it sought peace. His latest verses spoke of a garden that blooms in winter, a moon that rises for one heart alone, and a woman who remembers the stars when the world forgets them. It was clear who had inspired those lines, but not everyone accepted it. Some in the royal court whispered that their closeness was improper, that a ruler should not be seen beside a woman of such age. Others feared her influence, feared how her quiet strength could move even a prince's heart. One afternoon, when Layla visited the royal gardens, a young reporter dared to ask, "Are you in love with Sheikh Hamdan?" She looked at him with eyes both kind and sharp and replied, "Love wears many faces, young man. The one you speak of belongs to the world of noise. Ours belongs to silence." That answer only deepened the mystery. That night, Hamdan posted a short poem on his social page. It read, "She is the ocean I return to, even when the world builds walls of sand. She is my peace in the storm, my truth in disguise." The post broke the internet. Millions shared it, and the question echoed everywhere. Was the poem about Layla, the royal family? Days passed after Layla's sudden disappearance, and Dubai seemed quieter, as if a certain melody had gone missing from its air. Sheikh Hamdan stopped appearing in public for a while. The usual sparkle in his eyes dimmed. His poetry, once filled with warmth and hope, turned into verses of longing and remembrance. People wondered, had she left forever? Or had something happened behind those palace walls that no one dared to speak about? The royal press released no statement. Yet those who had seen Hamdan during that time described him as a man walking between worlds, half in duty, half in memory. One night, under the pale moonlight, he was seen alone at the royal stables, gently brushing his favorite horse. The guard said he whispered softly, "She taught me that love isn't about holding on, it's about understanding when to let go." Then he smiled faintly, as if hearing her voice in the wind. A few weeks later, an envelope arrived at the royal court. No sender's name, only a wax seal shaped like a crescent moon. Inside was a handwritten letter addressed to "My dear poet." It was from Layla. "You were never meant to find me again, my dear Hamdan. The world needed to see that even a fleeting encounter can awaken truth. Do not grieve my absence. I came into your life not to stay, but to remind you of the beauty in stillness. The poems you now write, they are not about me. They are about the part of you that I helped you rediscover. Remember this: when the world becomes too loud, seek silence. That is where I live now. The letter was signed simply Layla. Hamdan kept that letter close. Some say he framed it in his private library beside a collection of old poetry books. Others claim he carried it folded in his pocket, a reminder that some connections are eternal, even when distance grows between them. Months later, he dedicated a poem during a royal cultural event. The audience waited, curious about what the prince poet would share this time. He walked to the stage, his expression serene, and began, "She came to me not as youth, but as wisdom wearing the face of time. She touched no crown, yet she ruled my silence. She left no goodbye, yet her name breathes in my rhyme." The hall fell silent. There was no doubt whom he was speaking of. Even the king, watching from the front row, bowed his head quietly. When the poem ended, there was thunderous applause, but Hamdan's eyes looked far away, beyond the applause, beyond the glittering hall, toward something unseen. After that night, he began building something unusual in the desert outskirts, a small library surrounded by gardens of white roses. The royal architect revealed later that the prince had called it the House of Stillness. He opened it not as a royal project, but as a gift to the people, a place where anyone could come, sit, read, and breathe peace. At the entrance, engraved in stone, were the words, "Dedicated to the woman who taught me to listen to silence." Years passed. Stories about Layla faded into